to finish off the State of the Union for this Philadelphia sports calendar year, we got the Super Bowl. It was absolutely amazing. And it's time for the Philadelphia Phillies to finally get the job done this year. And I think they can do it.
You wonder what happened in sports today. Brandon Petrilli, he got the wave. We talking a lot with bros today. Cracking some jokes the podcast way. Goals on goals. With homers on homers. Tutties on tutties. Got moments on moments. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into Petrilli.
We're going to the Super Bowl, baby!
Hello, my fellow Philadelphians. Welcome back to another episode on the BSP Media channel, and it is the state of the Philadelphia Sports Union. We are back. We've been doing one every single year since we started the pod. Make sure you go check them all out. It's kind of funny to see the reactions and overreactions. I think the very first one I did is when the Eagles fired Doug Peterson. So make sure you go back to the channel and check that out. But it's going to be a lot more of a positive vibe today. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fantastic because the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. I feel great about another team in Philadelphia. I feel pretty good about another. And then the one I think everybody's on the same page than the other one, but we'll dive into those in a little bit here. But first, shout out to Philly drinkers. Go check out this awesome merch. They got some of the best gear out there, especially all your Super Bowl gear merch. Make sure you go check it out. Use my name, Brendan Petrilli, at checkout. And they got some Philly stuff coming out as we're going to spring training tomorrow. This is coming out tonight, so we're going tomorrow. And we'll be down there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for a vlog coming out. Go check out my previous quick video that I did at Cardboard Classic for Preston and Steve. We're rolling here. We're having a lot of fun with it. And man, it's just been an absolute ride since the Super Bowl. The whole beginning of this year, just the playoff run in general, it's been great. It's been so much fun. The one team's trying to keep everybody down, but we'll get to them in a little bit. I don't know. I got some interesting things maybe that a lot of people aren't going to like about that, but we'll get to them in a minute. But let's stay positive here because the Eagles just made Saquon Barkley the highest paid running back in NFL history. $40 million extension. He's going to be here for another 4 years. I'm interested to see the way that the money is moved around because Howie loves to put a little here, put a little there, free up some spots here. And I think that's what this move was all about. This move was to reward him with $36 million guaranteed, but also to give a little cap relief where I think I saw it was like $7 million this year for his cap hit for this team. They're loading up to make some plays. They're rewarding their guys that have made them plays that got them another Super Bowl ring and guys that absolutely deserve it. And I think it's going to happen with a few more other of these guys on the offensive line. You could see it. For them to go after giving him 1 year contract, you had a couple guys get some extensions the last couple years. I could see Lane Johnson reworking his deal like he's always had. I could see Landon Dickerson, Mailata. These guys just take some money up front in their pocket. That's one of the big things is when they say restructuring their deal, this and that, these players are getting the money up front. So I think that's what the players want. They would love to restructure their deals to get that money straight to their pocket. And if Howie can make it work in the best interest of the player and the team, the way he's been able to do the last few years now, I'm all for it, man. It'll be interesting to see how many more of these guys we see ended up getting reworked. It absolutely stinks that you had to let go of Slay and James Bradbury. I mean, Bradbury didn't play at all. I will give a tip of the hat to Bradbury. Ever since the PI in the Super Bowl a few years ago, he didn't complain at the end of the game. He didn't make any excuses. He got hurt all last year. He didn't make any excuses. They tried to move him to safety. He coached up the young guys. He said all the right things. And even when he got released yesterday or today, he was just like, I love this city. I love this experience. I'm glad we went out with the Super Bowl. These are the best people, the best fans in the world. Respect. I mean, the guy was straight class. He could have just went out and said, I'm better than this. I was a Pro Bowler. I was an All-Pro, this and that. No, he didn't. And I would like to see him come back as a coach down the road. But anyway, we'll see with Slay. You release Slay, maybe he comes back on a shorter deal. He seems like it was kind of a telling sign when he said at the Super Bowl, he's like, Philadelphia never had a lockdown cornerback before me, right? Before Slay got there. But now you got two. And he's talking about Quinion and Coop. So the way that those two D backs, defensive backs, older guys, veteran, great all pro players have been able to take those guys under their wing and just be absolutely constant professionals and en route to a Super Bowl. Awesome. Now you probably take a step back. We'll see with Avante Maddox. He'll probably be out the door too. Um, so we'll see there. But you got youth all over that defense that I was telling you all last offseason. Go check out the clips. I'll put the clip below. I loved the upside of this defense that Vic Fangio gave you, and it's just going to keep on growing and growing as the more you keep these young guys together moving forward here. It stinks. You got to move on from some tough guys. I think you're going to have to move on from Josh Sweat. Sorry, Josh. You played absolutely fantastic in the Super Bowl. Fantastic. Thank you for everything. Even his whole tenure here in Philadelphia. Honestly, I think you would have wanted a little bit more from him. He was had a roller coaster. He would start hot, he would finish, but to go out the way he did, go get your money, man. Go take it. You'd like to have Milton Williams back? Go get your money. Now, the one guy, my highest priority, free agent, and I think a lot of people's out there is Zach Bond. I'd love to keep Zach Bond here to anchor that defense, especially you don't know with Nakobe. Nakobe played great, but again, he got hurt again, and a pretty bad one from what he was explaining. His like ligaments were like up in his thigh and stuff. That stuff's just gross. So you need that insurance policy here. I love Nakobe. He's an absolute baller. Me and him, shout out the picture. Maybe I'll put it in here. Yeah, playing linebacker together for the Eagles. But you need that guy that that Vic Fangio trusted to go out there, saw the talent, and maybe they can work something out. And then I would love to keep Mekhi Becton too. But I think at the end of the day, you need to keep on. The other guys, I have trust in Howie and Nick and this team to go out there and fill holes. The way that you could just plug and play guys at guard position in Stoutland University. I would love to keep Mekhi Becton. I would absolutely love it. I hope he takes a hometown discount here because he realized how great it is. But if he doesn't, that's fine. Milton Williams, love for him to stay. Josh Sweat, love. Gonna get your money, go get your money, man. I feel like they've been able to address the offensive and defensive lines for years now, that you trust them to go out and just keep on doing it. That's always been the biggest staple for this team, is build through the trenches. I don't see that stopping here. You love to retain your guys, but the biggest thing here is now you're kind of aiming up. You're moving money around to go get a big guy. Now, do I think that's actually going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to get Myles Garrett. I don't think you're going to get Max Crosby. I would love Max Crosby. I'd love Myles Garrett too. I just don't see it. I don't see it coming together with the way that they've been able to build this youth on this defense. I think I would love an assassin like that to come in here and absolutely dominate and take them to the next level. But it'll be interesting to see the way Howie's kind of played it out. They've been more moving away from the older guys, filling it with youth, taking more chances on players lately. But then maybe you go out and you make a big splash like you did with Saquon Barkley last year, where you knew a top level talented guy and you said, hey, not everybody's paying running backs, right? Everybody this and that. Not everybody wants a 30-year-old pass rusher, right? Who was maybe on his way past his prime. I don't think so. But a lot of people would put that out there. How many years does he have really left? He wants to get a big contract. You put him on this team that's ready to compete away from that losing organization, those two losing organizations in the Raiders and the Browns. You bring him here, you could see that instant success again. And I think maybe that's where Howie might be thinking. Maybe. I don't think so. But it would be pretty sick if I'm coming back on here in a week or so talking about one of these guys coming onto this team. I'm not telling you that I wouldn't want it to happen, but I just don't see it. Because honestly, listening to Jeff McLean a little bit on the Fanatic earlier today with Kincaid and Salchunas, and Connor was in for John, he was kind of saying how it seems like they're looking towards giving Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and these younger guys. I mean, you got Jordan Davis coming up, right? Well, we'll see what they do with his option. You got these younger guys that you've drafted that are going to be coming up on big deals in the next year or so, or two, right? That we'll have to see what they do. It would be interesting. I kind of wanted to follow up and maybe ask. It would take Jalen Carter. It would take him in his court to be like, all right, I'm willing to make a deal now to get that money up front. But if anybody could do it, I could see Howie Roseman really making a push to be like, here's that money right here, right now for you. We know you got a couple of years left on your rookie contract, but we're willing to give it to you, just like they just did with Saquon, right? Now, the ball it would be in Jalen's court because he could hang out for another year or two and see the market get reset for defensive ends. We'll see what Myles Garrett gets, see what Micah Parsons and Max Crosby, what those guys get in the next year or so here, and then him come in afterwards and say, okay, I'll take that and some. You could see that happen like you see the way it always does with the quarterback positions. Or maybe they make it work. Say, hey, take the big contract that we can give you right now. We'll be able to keep your guys in a year or two with you here. Keep this Georgia Bulldog defense together. So it'll be interesting. In my opinion, I would see the Eagles giving Jalen Carter a big extension this offseason than I would seeing Max Crosby or Myles Garrett joining this team. I just think it would be in Jalen's court if he would want to do that, but I think it would just make the most sense for him to get his money now, give the team options in a year or two to be able to retain his buddies and keep this young defensive core together for years and years to come. We'll see. This team should go back to back without even free agency in the draft even starting. That's how excited I am. That's how dominant they were to finish this season. This team has everybody still together for the most part. Yeah, you're going to lose Sweat. Yeah, you're going to lose Milton Williams, Mekhi Becton, maybe Bond, we'll see. But this team is so damn good. Saquon Barkley is the highest paid running back, and I think he's your fifth highest paid player on the offense. That's crazy. The guy rushed for 2,000 yards. He's a stud. He's one of the best players in the league. And you're still able to get him paid and keep everybody else together for another year or so. This team is primed and ready to go back to back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, there's a lot that could change in the next week or so here with free agency and more moves to come. It's a good state of the union for Philadelphia sports, starting off the year with a Super Bowl championship. Now, before we get into my other team that I think can win one, let's go Flyers. Let's go hockey action real quick. Everybody complains, callers, oh, you don't talk about hockey. You don't talk about hockey on sports radio. Yeah, no duh. No duh. The Flyers haven't been very good in years. And two, nobody really cares about hockey. Hockey's fun. Hockey's had its moment over the last month now with that All-Star game, Six Nations. Not Six Nations, that's rugby. The Four Nations. It was awesome. The games were a lot of fun to watch. And hockey's having its moment, but it would be nice to see the Flyers to get back to that. I think it's going to be another year till we really get to see them making a playoff push here. But I was looking at it. They have the 8th pick right now. I was hitting the tankathon button, and after like 3 or 4, they jumped up to the 2nd spot. That'd be interesting. I don't know. But then you got 2 other picks. You got the Avalanche, and you got Edmonton's pick. And both of those are in the 20s, so you have a lot of capital. You have a lot of assets. You've seen them move off of guys this past trade deadline to really start to gear up and put them in a position this offseason and the next to really start to build this team around Michkov and the likes. You're going to need to find a goalie. I like Sam Harrison, but he can't stay healthy. He can't be a number 1 guy. You're going to have to find a goalie. You're going to have to find a defenseman and somebody else to go with Michkov. That's a lot. That's a lot in hockey. But you got the assets to go do it. And you should have the cap space in a year or so. So, hockey action. I like where the Flyers are at for the most part here. They're competitive most nights. They give up a lot of goals at times, and it can be ugly. But we'll see what they do with the head coach in a year or two here. I don't think he's going to make it past another year just because contract, and I think he wants to move up into the front office wise, not under the hot seat or anything like that, but we'll see how this team progresses over the next year or so. And they actually have some hope. You see what they can do, right? And then you got a team like the Philadelphia 76ers who were the model of that, right? The tank, the trust the process that started it everywhere in sports a decade ago now, which is crazy. I was talking with Amy Fadul about that. Crazy that it's been 10 years and we're back almost. People looking at Tankathon and can we get Cooper Flag? Can we get up into the top 3? I don't think so, and I think they're going to be in a sticky situation here where they're going to be around the 7, 8 spot, and they'll end up probably trading that pick to try to get somebody. I don't know, but that team. This is where I think a lot of people will get mad with me. The Sixers had to make the moves that they did this summer. They weren't going to trade Embiid. They weren't going to just build around Max. You see, you can't. I love Tyrese, but he's limited. He's just small. He's getting banged up when he has to be everything put on his shoulders. And you had to get another star. Tobias Harris isn't that guy. Obviously, Paul George, he was never healthy. No, none of these guys were healthy, and that's was the big gripe for a lot of people out there. Obviously, why did you do that? You know these guys are aging and hurt all the time. Yes, but it was just what they had to do. There was no way you were moving Embiid for 3, 4 first round picks. You weren't going to get the value he deserves as an MVP. You just weren't going to get it. You weren't going to just build from scratch. You didn't know you were going to have Jared McCain come and be a very valuable asset for you at the beginning of the year and then ends up getting hurt, right? Something about this team, man. You get a little glimpse of a guy and then they get hurt. You go down the list. Oh, it's so depressing. You can see how my mood just changed. I'm all excited about the Eagles. And then oh man. Ugh. So, and they're gonna have to run it back. They're gonna have to do it. You can't move off of any of these guys. I'd be impressed if they're able to move off those guys. I think the move this offseason is Nick Nurse is gonna go because he's lost the team. No fault of his own, but the message just isn't there anymore. These guys aren't playing. They got to win the other night. Great, thanks. But just some of these nights, the Bulls game in particular, and many other nights where I'm working highlights for these games, it's just they just run out of gas. They don't have enough, right? Because you're missing 200, $300 million worth of players not playing every night. So I think that's just the way it's gonna go. Maybe they bring in a new GM, maybe they bring in a new head coach, but the players are probably gonna be the same. I don't think people are gonna like that, and people are gonna be really checked out on the Sixers, and I don't blame you. A lot of people have for a while now. I kind of have too, to be honest. I was hoping that this team was going to be able to put something together because, in reality, looking at it in a bubble, no injuries, right? Sound crazy. That this team should have been able to compete, but they were just never able to stay on the court together, get a rhythm together, and then that drive just wasn't there this year. And it's on Embiid, but it's not on Embiid. It's not on Maxi, but it's on Maxi. It's not on Paul George, but it's on Paul George. I'm talking out of both ends of my mouth here, but I think people are very quick to hate, especially on Joel. But the guy has put so much on his body, whether his own fault at times. But the guy has been out there busting his ass, playing hurt, and just freak injury after freak injury. Should he have been in better shape? Sure, 100%. Anybody can be in better shape. Look, I got a stupid double chin. I don't know what to tell you. I'm fat. I'm not going to tell another guy that he shouldn't be fat. And that's a lot of you back there in the keyboards, but whatever. So, I don't know. I don't know. That's the state of the union for the Sixers. And I don't know. But here's one thing to finish this off. To finish off the state of the union for this Philadelphia sports calendar year, we got the Super Bowl. It was absolutely amazing. And it's time for the Philadelphia Phillies to finally get the job done this year. And I think they can do it. This Phillies team, they're running it back. A lot of people weren't happy with it. I'm okay with it because you picked up a big arm in Luzardo. You got a young guy in Painter coming up. And these guys know that you have this year and maybe next with this core that you got with Schwarber and Castellanos and Bohm and Stott. Those guys know that the pressure is on them because Turner and Harper are going to be here. Real Muto knows he needs a new contract. These guys are all coming up where they're going to need to get paid again. And this is the time for them to go put up or shut up time. They've been so close. They have the experience. They've been together as a team. They know what they can do. They're not going to ride the highs and the lows. They're going to stay even all season long, and they're going to get it done. I feel it. Not just because I've been there every postseason the last few years as a season ticket holder. Quick flex. But because this team has been able to show me that they have those moments in them. They just haven't been able to put it all together at the right time. You had it for a while in that big World Series run. You had it, and then you fizzled out against the Diamondbacks. And then last year, you had it all season, and then you ran into a buzzsaw that was your situation 2 years prior in the New York Mets. This is the year where you've kind of seen it all from this team. They've added a couple pieces that I love in this pitching staff. I think my boy, the hefty lefty, the not so hefty lefty, Jose Alvarado, is going to have a big year in that bullpen to go along with Kerkering. I think you're going to have guys step up in Luzardo, and I mean, man, the way that hey, hand up. I wasn't a huge fan of Sanchez. I wasn't. I thought he was a BP pitcher. Shout out. Yeah, like kind of like me back in the day, right? You throw strikes, but you can get hit if you leave it over the middle. He's picked up some velocity. He's picked up some movement. He's nasty. He had a great year last year. You only see him getting better and better. And now's the time that you can see it again. You got three lefties now in Luzardo and Sanchez and Ranger that are just all filthy. A couple of them can throw gas. Luzardo was throwing 97 in his first outing to go along with those two horses that get you 200 plus innings every year, knock on wood, that they keep it going for you, and Wheeler and Nola. And then you got a young guy that I think not pressure on him, not just throw him out to the wolves, but it's time to see a top prospect come up and live up to expectations for this Phillies team here. Alec Bohm did a great job, maybe not hitting his total ceiling that some people might thought, but he is a very solid player. Bryce Stott, very, very solid player. But those guys were middle of the pack kind of guys, right? When you drafted them, this guy's a top of the line, top 10, top 5 prospect, and Andrew Painter. He's been hurt the last 2 years. You've been kind of making his way back 2 years now, getting him back healthy, trying to build his arm up. I'm not saying blow it out in 200 plus innings this year that Ricky and Tyrone and I got in a little bit of an argument the other day about. But it's time to see come May, June. Let me see some innings out of this kid. Let me see what he's got. No baby in him. No, his confidence. Let's build his confidence up. Nah, this kid, I want to see it happen. Oh, but the Braves blew out Strider and he's had 2 injuries. I'm not saying to go out there and throw 150 plus innings like the Braves were having him do. Go out there, give me a few starts towards the back half of the year, and let me see what you got. It's time to see a young phenom come up and succeed for this team because that guy can take you over the top. If that's what all the people are saying, hey, how good he is the guy that makes me the most confident in why I say that the Phillies can go and finish the deal here. Because he can be that, he's that addition that everybody's like, well, you haven't made the big play, the big splashes. They were banking on him 2 years ago, kind of, to make that rotation. Gets hurt. They've been trying to make his way back. He can be that guy you plug in there, that dominant arm, and really make a push at it here. The Bats should be able to do it. The money is in there. That's where you're going to live and die. But if this pitching staff keeps developing the way that they have, and I love this team. I'm excited for this team. Trey Turner's going to have to step up to that $300 million contract. He's my only real panic, almost panic mode button player on this team. Everybody else, I am comfortable with where they're at in their careers and how they have developed. Trey Turner, this is his year that he has to get going and be the Trey Turner $300 million guy. He's got to play decent defense. I'm not even going to say solid or good. Give me good, decent defense and hit the ball well. Get on base. We'll see what they do with the lineup moving forward. I'm going to go give you a scouting report down there at spring training. So make sure you stay subscribed to the channel. We'll be putting vlogs and videos out. Go follow me at Brendan Petrilli on Instagram. But that's the state of the union. That's the state of the union for Philadelphia sports. We're in a good spot, people. We're having fun with it. Sixers got me down a little bit, but the Flyers were feeling good. Phillies were feeling good. Eagles were feeling great. We'll see what happens moving forward. Shout out to 215. Go Birds, baby. Shout out Philly drinkers. Brendan Petrilli at checkout. Go Birds.